Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so tonight, first of all, I suffer from hay fever. So if I end up being a sneezing, eyes, nose mess, I apologise. Can't help it. Secondly, don't really have much of a plan for this evening, except that I'm going to explore this hillside. There is haze and a few clouds in it. There's atmosphere. Let's call it atmosphere. I'll give you a little taste of the atmosphere. See, atmosphere. So I'm gonna capture some atmosphere and maybe some dry stone walls, maybe even some plants, probably some trees, and yeah. Well, that's going to be the theme for this evening. It's kind of, I'm bringing you along for an explore. So, hay fevered exploration should be a good evening. Should be. Right. Well, there's only one way to find out, eh? Better get this night started. So I was just having a little walk along and instantly that tree has caught my eye. Yeah. We all love big old trees, but then I was coming up to this dry stone walling and I quite like the way you've got this broken down section here leading round. You've got the tree. I might shoot this from the other side, but I like them blue mountains. Well, hills, quite like them blue hills on the other side. And it's maybe this pile of rocks here that I can shoot coming down, have them going at an angle, almost looking like they're bending around into that scene. I think that might look quite nice. So, let's get it, I guess. Sick. Got the shot just how I want it. And I have gone into portrait on my 15 to 30mm. And that's given me way too much sky. But I'm enjoying the perspective that the ultra wide lens has given me. And I've actually got this on 15mm to get this shot, to get the rocks down in this corner here, leading around, coming through. I love that little tree down there and that hill. It's given me a lot of sky. And there's a good chance when I actually come to edit this picture and do the final finishing touches, that sky is going to get shortened quite some. I'm probably going to take it off to about there. So it's not going to be so elongated. I might take a little bit off the bottom as well. But I'm enjoying how big it's making that wall look, guiding your eye through into that scene. For the exposure itself, I'm going to underexpose for the wall, and then I'm going to underexpose further for that sky, because there isn't a lot of detail in that sky, but there's a lovely light on these hills just over there. I think that light looks absolutely stunning. But there's one thing I have to say that I love about this shot most of all, and it's simply how good focusing to infinity is. Like, genuinely, zoom in, furthest away object, focus on that. As long as it's not too close to your lens, it's acceptably sharp. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Anyway, so I'm going to capture this shot now, and yeah, I think it's going to be quite a nice image. So the first one you're going to see coming up on scene, f11, ISO 100, shot on 100th of a second, firing that off. What I really like about this shot here is that light that's getting cast on that wall. It really makes it inviting, wanting to bring your eye through into that scene. For the second shot, I'm going to go 125th of a second. I'm firing that off. And there, look, I'm starting to get that detail in that sky, and with Photoshop, And editing, I can put more drama in there. I can dodge and burn, I can start doing some sculpting of them clouds. But what I really liked about this was the hill at the back. It was so blue. It didn't have that direct light. I think that, as a little banger to walk off with, to start off with, it's pretty good. The light tonight is particularly good, and I think that's because there's this haze in the atmosphere. But I'm glad that I came out earlier rather than later. Look at that bank of cloud over there. Yeah, definitely a good choice to come out earlier. But I feel like there's more shots to be had. Let's go and get them. When I originally decided this is where I was going to come this evening, this was a location that I already had in mind. And there's a reason why I came that little bit earlier, so I could get the sun coming through them branches. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick it up on the action camera, but I'm getting this lovely glow across the rocks underneath, across the top of them limbs, getting caught by them leaves. It's just beautiful. Now, if I can find an angle where I can incorporate these rocks down here, these branches leading in, it's going to be something good. It's going to be something special, especially shot on this wide angle, really trying to involve all of that tree in its majesty. It's a big tree. It stood there for a long time, and it'd be a shame not to do it proud. It really would. There's a couple of things that have already made my decision a little bit harder. One, the sun is on the other side, so I have to be on this side if I want to get the sun coming through them branches. Being totally lit up by the sun, I don't think that'll look as pretty. It's always worth coming around the other side, even if, like right now, you decide, nah, you prefer it from the side you were at to start off with. Okay, so I think I've got the shot that I want, the angle. And funnily enough, it's the first place that I came to. I have a habit of doing that, but it's always still best to check around and make sure. But what I really like about it is I've got a branch down here. You can only see a little part of it due to this stupid video camera. I've got a branch coming right round the bottom, leading across the scene, around, down, and then you've got the tree trunk down here, the rocks that are holding that tree up. The sun star up here just looks beautiful, open up into all of these branches with little bits of light kissed all over the place. And it just looks really quite special. I'm gonna have to bracket this shot just because I want the best out of this scene. So I don't want any highlights blown out. I'm gonna focus on the tree trunk because I feel that is the most important part. So I've got that nice and focused. I'm gonna shoot this on f11. I'm gonna shoot the sun star on 1/20th of a second. That shot is gonna be now captured. Boom. It's a shame that it's windy, because it would be really nice if nothing was moving. Now, to capture the detail in the tree and on the light on the branches, I'm gonna go up as high as 1/8 of a second. And I'm just gonna fire that off. So now I've got my two images, one dark, one light. When I blend them together, everything that's slightly blown out in the overexposed one, I'll be able to bring back. And then just to make sure, is I'm going to use my histogram and I'm going to pop it all the way down so none of the highlights are blown up through that far column. And then I'm going to shoot that again, because the dynamic range on these beasts, that might even be good enough just to take the shot and edit it completely from that. It might be. But I really like this composition. And this tonight was not about getting that portfolio shot. It was more just about coming and seeing the location, getting a feel for that location, when it'll be good, when it won't be good, this, that, and the other. Like, I think this would look great with some God rays behind it, but I do love God rays. Okay, time for the next location, I think. I've just been walking along and I found myself at this fallen tree. And I've set the camera up and I'm trying to do like a, you know, long in it, making it nice and long, but it's just not working for me. But there must be something here. Whether I come a little bit closer and maybe shoot down one of these branches. But there's a couple of things about it that I'm not too sure about. And one of them could either be perfect or could ruin a shot. And it all depends on the angle. And one very exciting thing is the sun has gone behind a very interesting cloud. And with my experience, that is the kind of cloud where you get them gorgeous sun rays, God rays, whatever you want to call them, rays. But I just need to find the right composition for this tree first, because I don't think it's going to be long until I've got that perfect sky. So I'm going to put you down, just there, fella, and then I'm going to go find a composition. Okay, so for this shot, I'm going to do something quite similar, but slightly different. And the way it's going to be slightly different is I'm going to focus on the tree stump, expose for the tree, and then I'm going to focus into infinity and then shoot the sky. Just so everything's nice and balanced and, you know, nice and sharp. Not that the sky needs to be that sharp. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to focus on the tree. The sky can be slightly soft. It's a sky. But the focal point is the end of that tree branch. And that's why that is important. That is nice and sharp. This is going to be shot on f11. In fact, I'm going to go wider. I'm going to go f8, just for a change. Just for a change. I know, maverick. I'm going to shoot it on 1/60th of a second, which is blowing that sky out. But that's not important. So I'm going to blow the hell out of that sky. There's the shot. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? Then I'm going to drop that exposure right down. I'm going to go down to 1/60th of a second. Sorry, 1/600th of a second. And I'm going to fire that off. Now, for moving this composition, I don't think I'm going to move it yet, because the clouds that I was hoping to create all that drama and mysticalness kind of just blew past. It didn't happen. So I'm going to leave my camera set up here, and then I'm going to see if another cloud comes across and gives me that, you know, specialness that I'd quite like. But while I'm waiting, here's a little time lapse. So you probably noticed on that time lapse some pretty thick cloud is coming in, which probably means that, yep, it's going to snuff my sunlight. But I feel like this little jaunt, this little adventure that we've just been on, was quite successful. And photography wise, I think I've captured some nice images. Teaching and learning wise, maybe not so much. But we all know I'm more of a vlogger than a tutorial. And I hope that you guys like just watching me going on joints, because that's pretty much what I do. But every so often I throw a little bit of magic out there. I do. But if you are enjoying this content, make sure to leave a little thumbs up and you know, leave a little comment. Let me know how I'm doing. But plenty more content coming, and many more adventures, and hopefully some time in Scotland. Fingers crossed. I do love Scotland. But that is all from me this week, and I will see you next week. Peace out, peeps. That might be my new goodbye. I've said it on 3 videos now. Peace out, peeps. What do you reckon? Again, let me know in the comments below whether I just sound like I'm talking a lot of nonsense.
you talk all the time, you'll never hear what anybody else has to say. And therefore, all you'll have to talk about is your own conversation. The same is true for people who